Hey friends, it's Connie here from Say It With Simplicity. I'm here today in Silhouette Studio and I wanted to share with you how I made this layered scalloped heart in Silhouette Studio. Now, several years ago when I first started my channel, I did a video on how to make a heart in Silhouette Studio. And since then, I did how to make some various scalloped circles in Silhouette Studio. I also made a video on how to do a scalloped egg in Silhouette Studio. And these are all very popular videos on the channel, and I did have a viewer request on how to do the scalloped heart. Now I probably go about this in a little different way than I would a scalloped circle or the scalloped egg, and probably different than what you would see most creators do. And so you might want to stick around to the end because I really think this is a unique technique and that you're going to come out with a really nice result when you do this scalloped heart this way. So I'm going to go here first of all and show you what's going on in my setup panel. So I have my Cameo 4, I have feed type manual, I have my Cameo cutting mat and my media size at 12 by 12. I don't have my Cameo turned on right now, but I have cut these out in the past and they work really well. I'm going to go ahead and share with you my screen of my website here. And you can see I did this little matchbox with the bear and the scalloped heart. And so if you need a scalloped heart or you want to see how I did this matchbox, you can do that here on my website. You can also download this SVG freebie and you'd have the scalloped heart in there. But if you really want to learn how to create some of these things yourself, stick around for this video and learn along with me while we create this scalloped heart in Silhouette Studio. So back to my page setup panel here, I'm going to go over here. I'm not showing my grid right now. I'm showing my guides and the snap to guides, not snap to grid because that's going to mess you up a little bit. But the snap to guides, and I'm going to enable smart snapping and smart snap within the media. And so now I can close out that panel and we'll go ahead and get started at creating our scalloped heart. Now I'm going to move this off to the side and I have this heart that I've previously created. Again, you can go to your Flexi Shapes panel and you can get a heart out of the Flexi Shapes panel. You might be able to find one in the Silhouette store. You might be able to find a heart online that you really like. But I'm just going to start here with my basic heart that I created and go from there. So I'm going to double click on this, and double clicking on the shape brings up your point editing panel. Now you can see most of these things are grayed out, but if I click on one of those points and I hold down my shift key and I click on one of those points, I have both of these points selected and I'm going to break path. And you can see that shape no longer has a fill because that path is broken. So like if I pulled out one of these, you can see that is broken there. And so I'm going to undo that, but they're still broken. I have my little red circles here showing that that path is open. And I'm going to let you know that I work on a desktop computer with a keyboard and a scroll wheel mouse, and this is how I do all of my SVG creation. Now, part of the reason I do this is I just feel like I have more control over what's going on if I'm using the mouse and keyboard situation. I don't do well with the keypad on my laptop, and so that's why I like to share this. If you are going to break this path, you might have to select these one at a time, but I find that if I hold down my shift key, I can select them both and break that path. So all that said, I'm going to go over here and I have my shape, and it doesn't look like anything happened really, but I'm going to right click, release the compound path, and now you can see that I have a bounding box around this side and a bounding box around this side, and I am just going to move one of those curves out of the way. I'm going to close out my point editing panel, and I'm going to go over to my drawing tools, and I'm going to go to the flyout menu and draw an ellipse, and I can hold down my shift key now and I can draw a perfect circle, and I'm going to release and my shift key, and now I have my circle drawn on my work area here. So let's see, maybe that's a little bit big. And so now I want to replicate this circle around this path. Now, if you've watched some of the other videos where we've done the scalloped shapes, you know about the replicate around a path. But if you don't, let's go over here to the replicate panel and open that. I'm going to click on my circle, and I'm going to go over to this tab that's the object on a path tab, and I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to click on show grab handle. So now that I have that grab handle shown, you can see there's like a little circle, looks like a bullseye sort of thing in the middle of my circle, and if I mouse over it I get a little bit of a yellow color, but if I click on it with my mouse I can drag it, and you can see it gets a little bit darker orange in the center, and I'm just going to drag that circle over to the top, or that point in my on my heart there, and now you can see that that's replicated around that curve. Now let's go back into that, and I don't have enough copies overlapping to do any welding or anything. They'd just be out there. So I have my number of repeats checked, and I'm going to just click on that up arrow until I increase my repeats. And what I'm looking for is for these to be overlapping and just a little bit of a tail at the end of that heart showing. So let's go 10, 11, 12, and they're overlapping now, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to release those copies, and you can see them replicated and overlapping around the edge of that curve. I'm going to take that and I'm going to move it out of the way now, and I'm going to mouse over all of this, and I'm going to group it. So I have that grouped, and I want to replicate this for the other side, or just copy and paste it. So I'm just going to right click, copy, paste. You could do paste in front too, that wouldn't matter. And now I'm going to right click, and I'm going to flip that horizontally. And so now you can see that I have two of these, and if you see that blue line, that's smart snapping, and that's helping me to line these up perfectly. And I'm just going to go ahead and put these together until those circles at the top are overlapping. Okay, now this is a group, and because I overlapped these, I have two circles right at this part right here. So I'm going to go here to one of these, and I'm going to ungroup, And now you can see all the little bounding boxes around here. But what I want to do is I want to take this extra circle and just drag it down to the bottom here. And you can see it's lined up on the side right here and at the bottom. And now if I look at this, you can see that this looks like a pretty nice symmetrical shape here. But none of these are welded together. They're just all separate little circles. I'm going to mouse over all of this, and because this one was still grouped, it doesn't show all those little bounding boxes. But I'm going to click on Weld up here in my Quick Access toolbar, and now I have my heart shape with the scalloped edges. But I have this problem here where I have like this donut look to it. Let's go ahead and make that red. Now let's make it a pinky color. And I don't want that, so I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to release the compound path. Now some people will take this and set it aside and delete it. You don't have to. Let's go back there. Just hit weld and those pieces will all become one. And now you have your beautiful scalloped heart that you made here in Silhouette Studio. Well, what about my layered part now? Well, let's go back here. And I have my two pieces. With my Smart Snapping enabled, I'm going to be able to line these up. So these are right in the middle now. You can see that sort of upside down T with the blue lines. Those are lined up. I can mouse over all of these. And remember, I have these two bounding boxes. I am going to make a compound path, and that's going to create this into one shape. But we're not done yet. Let's double click on that, and you see that we still have those circles, and I don't have a fill color. I'm going to click on those circles where they overlap and join those points back up again. So clicking on them is going to join them back up again. And now I have my heart that I started out with, and it's going to fit perfectly. Let's send this to the back with the scalloped heart that we created. And so let's see, we can turn that red again. And there you have it. We have that perfect scalloped heart here in Silhouette Studio. And it's nice and symmetrical. And it really wasn't as difficult as it looks. So once you get the hang of this, you'll probably want to try other hearts. But by releasing that compound path and only doing a half at a time and replicating that, you can have that nice symmetrical look for a scalloped heart that you're going for. So I hope that answers your questions. I will leave a link to those other videos for the other shapes down in the description box below, like I said, and also a link to the little SVG on my website. I hope you have a wonderful and creative day, and we will see you next time on Say It With Simplicity. Bye now.